Okay folks, so welcome to the video where we're going to take apart this Vauxhall combo windscreen wiper motor and try and find out what's wrong with it.
Okay, so to release the motor from the mechanism, need to undo this 13mm nut here, which is on the back of the motor. There's a couple, I think there's 3 bolts there, 3 bolts there bolting it on. Okay, so to release the motor we have this here which we've pulled off, and then we've got these 3. There's another one behind there. They've also got to come. It's actually making me wonder whether this is the reason this wasn't working was because it was maybe seized a bit, because it's actually pretty stiff. So if it is seized, then maybe I won't have to take the motor apart. Okay, so having had the motor off, I just grip it here. You can sort of see, it turns. It's not actually brilliant, but it isn't stopping it going or anything like that. So I think we probably are looking at the actual motor that's faulty. Okay, so this is WD-40. So I suspect that what's wrong with this windscreen wiper motor is that the wee contacts that are inside here, which help it switch, have maybe got a bit of hard grease or something like that. This is a pretty low mileage car, so I mean it's like 50,000 mile car, so it's probably not wear and tear, it's probably just age. So we'll have this apart next, which has got you can use hex keys, but it's got star drivers in it. Right, so here we are, fixed our little problem. We've got star drivers here, here, here and here, which we're just going to take off. That's assuming that they come off, of course. Sometimes they don't. And there they come there, looks like it's been. That's the 4 screws out. So you're going to need quite a small hex key for this. And it actually says T10 on it, so if you've got a T10 you'll be alright. But you can probably use an Allen key. So I'm ready to lift this now. So it actually seems that you see here, just here, actually rivets in this too. So we need to get the rivets off. Now let's get this off. So it kind of looks like we're going to have to give it a tap. There you go, it's loosening up. So inside, as you can see there is a contact plate, and these things here are the little switches that switch the wiper back and forth, and a bit of grease, I think. So this is the inside of the windscreen wiper motor. The seal looks okay. You can just see there those oblongs at the base there. They're the brushes. They don't look like they're at the end of the travel or anything like that. They look as if they're in good nick. The 2 that are side by side there are a bit shorter, and the other one's a bit longer. There's another one there that's a bit longer. I don't see anything going wrong there though. Actually looks alright. This is the windscreen wiper driver wheel. So you basically got little contacts. You've got a gap here, so that as it spins around, it drives certain wipers. This bit here, initially I thought that the factory had put that there to hold this plate on, but if you look at the back, you can clearly see that there are tabs holding the plate on. There's nothing wrong with them, they look okay. So I don't think that's supposed to be there. That's probably what the problem is. So I'm going to get rid of that and then put it back together and see if we can get it to work. So I think we're at the bottom of the problem here. You can just see there's a piece of something sitting in the bottom of the hole there. It's been burned down. If we take a quick look at the contact plate, this is the contact plate for the windscreen wiper. Take a quick look at the contact plate. You can see that there's supposed to be little bobbles on the end of these, and this one doesn't have one. So we've now unsquashed the rivet and managed to get these off. And if we lay them side by side, and I have to say here, I am kind of assuming that these are supposed to be the same size. They probably are the same part. You can just see there that the thing that's buried in the plastic wheel is the tip of this. So here's what we've kind of done here. We've actually made a completely new piece and then used the remains of the rivet to rivet it back on again. So we took it off quite carefully. But if you look at the surface of this back plate, you can actually see where it burned. So we now know that that's probably the reason why it got damaged. So as for the other part, this is made of quite a greasy plastic and it's hard to get anything to stick to it. So what I did was I drilled a hole all the way through it and then chamfered it a bit so that it couldn't push through. Filled it full of epoxy and sanded it all flat. You can kind of see where I've been sanding away. There was also a bit of a ledge here, so I wonder if this just wasn't a very good quality part to start with. I'm not really sure, but on the back there's a little recess where the epoxy can sit anyway. That epoxy's not going to come out despite the sort of greasiness of the plastic. It basically goes in like that. Now this rotates round and round and round as the motor spins, so it shouldn't actually matter exactly what position it sits in. Two arms sit on here and there's one there. That's probably the slow wiper setting, and then there's two other wiper settings. One of them I guess would be the semi-slow, which is slowed down by this brake, and the other one must be the fast one, I would imagine. And the earth of course doesn't come onto this switch, so we're going to have to re-grease it all. There you have it with the placement down. Right, so here we are, all the nuts are in, and we've got lots of silicone seal around it just to seal it off. Okay, that's your sort of medium speed, or a normal speed if you like, and then there's the faster speed too, which it goes a bit faster, allegedly anyway. Yeah, it goes slower there, and then you've got the on-off. So that's the motor reinstalled there, and that's a 10mm spanner. I've given this a bit of a wire brush, but it's not marvellous. It could be painted, I suppose. So that's the arm installed. So you can kind of just about see where I made felt tip pen marks to line it all up. And you can see on this one where there's a felt tip pen mark there and a felt tip pen mark there. And I've done it on some of the others too. And so that there is your reassembled assembly, as close as I can get it to the way I took it off. Okay, so we're about to put this back on now. I'm going to just clean some of the dirt off first. Well, that's your 8mm nut bolt mount. Just there, that piece there goes onto that piece there, and then at the other end you've got another nut, and then you've got this. Alright, so here we are, fully installed. You can see just there, that's one of the nuts that goes in. Just at the back there, that little black grommet, you can see that's the pivot point that it sits on. And then this is the other nut that's gone in. This is the 8mm, and the connector's now on. So next thing to do is to try. There you go, we seem to be fixed. Okay folks, so that brings us to the end of the little video. Thanks so much for watching folks, bye.